Welcome everybody to Linux Academy. My name is Terry, and over this course we will be covering all things Linux, introduction to installation and setup. So now that we've updated our system, installed some applications that we use, our chat client, our ability to web browse, we can now watch videos. Let's step back and do a little bit of administration talk. So one of the most common things that you'll have on a system is you have a system that's shared amongst family and friends, and you want to keep those settings separate. So in Windows, you would set up a user account with or without administrative privileges so that the user account could keep the games and items that user may be using or documents that are being created separate from everybody else. So there's a couple of ways to do the same thing in Linux, in Ubuntu especially. Ubuntu makes it pretty easy. In fact, if you just go to System Settings, this is much like the control panel in Windows. You can find user accounts, and you can simply add a user once you've unlocked the ability to do so, because the user that's installed, your user, the one you log in as, are the administrator, much like administrator account is on a Windows box. We can add an account as a standard or administrative user. A standard user simply means that it won't be able to execute commands as an administrator using sudo privileges. Sudo is something that's beyond the scope of this video, but it's effectively running a program as an administrator. So we'll add a full name test user, and our username is test. We'll add this user here. Right now the account is disabled because there's no password, so we'll just set a password right here. A really weak password, and enable this account. So now this test user has been added to the system. Easy enough. However, if you're not using Ubuntu, there's a little bit more to it. So, whether it's a Debian-based distribution or whether it's a RPM-based distribution like Red Hat or CentOS, what you can do is, if you have administrative privileges on the system that you're using, you can do sudo, which means execute the next command as if I were the super user. Super user do sudo add user tcox test. It will ask me for a password, and then test Terry user. And this is all useful information if you're creating an LDAP, because this can be used to build an LDAP, and an LDAP is the equivalent of an Active Directory user for Windows. Now we've added this user, and we can log in as this user by doing an su tcox test, and it will ask me, and in this case I have to have the password, and now I'm logged in. Now you'll see here that at this point this user does not have sudo privileges. So if I put in my password here, it says that I'm not in the sudoers file, that this incident will be reported. The extra step that we did in Ubuntu is we could have added, instead of adding a standard user, we could have added an administrative user. So on this system, if we log out as tcox test and back into tcox, and we list the contents of a file called sudoers, which I have to do via sudo, you'll see that root has user privilege specification of sudo, and the user that was created as part of the installation tcox, which is a member of the admin group, which tcox is a member of. Now, if we edit the sudoers file, we can add the tcox test user as a sudo user. So now, if we do su tcox test and we log in, and let's clear the screen, now we can do a sudo apt get update, enter in the user password. Of course, if I do it right, and you'll see the command will now succeed. So we've gone over that we can add users via the command line. We can create a user that we add to the etc sudoers file, which will make them a super user so that they can perform updates and install applications in privileged locations. And we've also used Ubuntu's system settings to create a user. That's all there is for this video. My name is Terry for Linux Academy, brought to you by Pinehead TV.